Okay, I've recorded this several times. I'm just going to try to make it as quick as possible. So the other day, I was watching this video for one of my college classes. And I saw this really cool lighting effect going on. It's sort of like a dithering effect where you have the lighting driving the density of this noise texture. And so where it's brighter, you have pretty much this solid, lighting color. And then where it's dark, you don't. And then in between, you have this cool gradient effect going on. I really like how it looks. And I was wondering, am I able to whip up something like this myself in Blender? And at times, by the way, up here like this moon, the noise texture will actually track to the camera as opposed to the like sticking to the object itself like it's painted on. Instead, it'll follow the camera, which we can do pretty simply. So I'm just going to show you how to do that in Blender. What I ended up finding that works. And so uh, here you can see what the end effect is going to look like. Let's hop into how to do this. So it's real simple. You're going to take a principled BSDF node. Let's turn this to render view. A principled BSDF node. And this is going to give us a bunch of lighting information about like our scene and what's happening on our objects. And so then what we want to do is run that through a shader to RGB node so that we could take all this lighting data and actually use it as color information, and we can run it through a color ramp and do what we will with it. So if we run it through a color ramp, here we can see that's already a very different effect from the original principled BSDF. That's because we're playing with these dials right here on the color ramp. And then what we do is we run the color ramp color into A and a noise texture factor into B for a color mix node. And what we're going to do is set the factor all the way to 1 for a color dodge effect right here, set to color dodge. And then I also have clamp result on and clamp factor off. I just found that's what worked. It doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Feel free to play around with it. And then we can see that we have this cool mix going on where it's dark is fully black and where it's bright is very, very white. And then here at the edge, we have this sort of almost dithering effect going on, the gradient of our noise texture. And if we run that through a color ramp and set it to constant, so it's only one color or the other, no grays, it just is white or black, boom, there's our effect. That's it. It's really that simple. And then if you want it to glow like in the thumbnail, you just run it through an emission shader, and then you go into your compositing tab, and let me render this real quick. And then you just add a glare node in order to add the glare effect on top, and that's it. And that's how you get that effect. You could also run, if you want it to, again, track the camera, you run it texture coordinate to mapping node into the vector for your noise texture. And if it's tracking camera, then when you move this around, or I guess I should be in the camera view, when you move this around, um, it tracks the camera. Select the camera. Come on, you got this. Oh, please. Okay, I'll go up here. So as opposed to it being like painted onto the object, instead it's like based on the camera position. So if I instead change that to just generated, then when I move the camera again, you can see it's like painted on. Just a different effect. So depending on what you want, just play around with it, whatever you want. We'll go with the camera. Then also I found that what works instead of a noise texture is you can also use a Voronoi on smooth F1, and actually we'll have to play with the settings a bit here, but what I found is you can get this cool halftone effect going on, which I think looks really nice. I can see some like interesting use cases for this, although I'll be honest, I do just prefer the regular noise. I think it looks nicer. And then all we do is play with our dials here to get what we want. Bing bing bang boom, it's gone, that simple. You just kind of mess around with it until you get the effect that you want, and there you go. That's all there is to it. Slightly different. I have over here a screenshot of when I first worked on this the other day. I just whipped it up real quick, and then closed the project because I didn't like save. I just took a screenshot, and this is what it looked like there. As I don't know, it looks nice. So that's it. That's the whole effect. You can play with this to get your different colors that you want. You can play with all of this in order to get different like lighting effects. Like here it's much stronger. But at the end of the day, we're just going for this cool noise texture effect. I don't know if there's a way to get this to be like perfect dots as opposed to these like blob shapes. Nonetheless, it's a pretty neat effect. and I quite like it. I think it looks nice. So if you ever are looking for something like this, hopefully this video comes to mind. You could check how to do that real quick, and then render it out, and there you go. That's it. Pretty simple, well, I guess, because this is dark. It doesn't emit very well, so let's try that. And there you go. This is the full effect. It's pretty simple. Here's the whole node tree setup. Principled BSDF into shader to RGB, shader to RGB into color ramp, and then color ramp into a color dodge mix node with a noise texture going in. I have a pretty high scale here. And then that goes into a constant, that's important, constant color ramp. If you set it to linear or ease or whatever, you'll get a little bit of a different effect, which does not look as nice in my opinion. We want it to be constant. It is one color or the other, no in betweens. And that's how you get that cool like dithering effect. And that's it. And then run that into an emission node if you want. And there you go. That's it. Texture coordinate and mapping if you want to track it to the camera. You can omit it entirely if you just don't care and want it to track to the object. Or you can, set it to generate it or whatever. You get the idea. So there you go. That's it. That's the whole effect. Uh that's it. Hope this is helpful. Hope you enjoy. Have a good one.